And so, most things that end badly, or they wouldn't end. That's not my case with Equita. In 2013, Travis decided he wanted to be he wanted to have his own pirate ship, and partnered with Scott, and it was going to be Brad, and started their own IMO. And shortly after we left I knew it was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to happen so fast. We were at the tipping point for Travis was some things that happened when we were at the Royal Neighbors trip in I think we were in Costa Rica. But anyway, they started their own, and nope, I was not given any pressure at all. Travis even told me that, hey, look, we'd like to have you, Travis, we'd like to have you join us. But if you don't want to, I fully understand why. You got a good thing going with Equita, and it took me a while. That was a hard decision. It took me a couple of weeks talking to my wife about it, and man, that was a tough call to make to Garrett Brennan and Ryan. And they couldn't have been better about it though. So things worked good, and of course one of the good things that came about it was that I started using lead connection leads from Equita, back to doing 1,000-piece mailers too, from being on a fixed cost. Was a big change again for me, but all my leads from lead connections were my two favorite places to work.
That's nice. Yeah.
What's the difference? It's all about the data. RGI now, I have the same thing. I work those same areas now. They've never said a word, so I don't know what the difference, that's above my pay grade, how these companies work it. I'm an end user, I just know how it is when it gets to me. And, but, and it's been, picked up different companies, that we were, but, I'm like the right one company. When I was Royal Neighbors, Royal Neighbors was my go-to company for 6 years. And then after Royal Neighbors really raised their prices and then went to that voice signature thing, and, I was really looking for a company for a while. And I tried to make it Trinity, to be my go-to, and well, actually they were my go-to, but it just didn't working out. And I was looking for something else, and we got, I even pulled out my old Forester stuff. Standard Life Casualty, picked them up. And this would have been 2015 when I was trying to find somebody different. And then we picked up KSKJ then. And I might have been the first agent with FEX to write them. And it just went really well with them. And so then it ended up, I found a go-to. And so, and I'm still that way, with them. I've got on have a Royal Neighbor shirt today.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Out to work. Well, I'm going to, this is my appointment setting day. I am going to go out, depending on what comes in the mail today. I plan on delivering some policies today. I always wear company's logo shirts when I'm out meeting with people. It might be a KSKJ shirt. It might be. I've got a Lincoln Heritage shirt I never wear yet. That's just part of it. But even if I wasn't going out today, I generally dress for work when I'm going to make calls. So that was a long answer to your telling me how I got into this. That's how it happened. So.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about some actual play-by-play techniques and strategies you use, John. So I've got my list of questions up here. So you informed us how you got into final expense, how the transition came from workers' protection, Medicare to final expense. Tell us about kind of how your typical week runs. You know, I always love your approach, your setup. How do you work your leads, set the appointments? Just kind of give us a basic overview.
Okay. Well, I get 15 leads a week. Still, you had mentioned 10 earlier, and that was going to be, I did go to 10 year and a half ago, a little over a year and a half ago. 15, I don't need, I get a lot of referrals. I don't need 15 a week to get my goal, and I write way over my goal because I get more leads than I need. My goal from the beginning has always been to make $100,000 a year after lead costs, and I'm talking new business. I'm not counting, to make $100,000 including your renewals. I'm talking, $100,000 of new business in a year get paid, and since I'm as earned, it would be paid in it, pretty much paid it over lead cost. I don't need 15 leads a week to do that. That was always the minimum, that you had to do, and to with the company, that was your minimum. We're doing the 1,000 piece with lead connection was getting more than 15 on the same areas that other company couldn't get mail from. Then when I went to RGI, it was 15, but I changed in probably September, a year and a half ago. I told Scott I wanted to go to 10, Scott and Travis, and they did. And I got 10 a week probably from September 2016 till maybe this time last year, February, March, April last year. Scott said that RGI was giving him a problem about I wasn't taking enough leads to support the area, to protect the area, I guess was the words. They were going to have to, they were getting more leads in my areas. I have 16 counties that I work. They were getting more leads in my area than I was taking. So either I was going to take more leads, or they were going to sell them to someone. They were going to sell them to another agent. But I didn't care. I told Scott, that'd be fine. I don't care. That's inventory for me. If these agents, go out and sell them. I like to meet with people who already have insurance. And but they didn't like that idea. They didn't want a non-FEX agent buying leads in this area. I understand that point. So Scott asked me to go back to 15. So I did. So that's where I'm at now. And so that's why I actually write more than what I need, is because I've got more leads than I can get to. But I get my leads in. They come in on Thursday, every Thursday for this week. And then I set my appointments on Monday for Tuesday, and then I set appointments on Thursday for Wednesday. So in a normal run-of-the-mill, 75-80% of the weeks in a year, that's my schedule. 2 days in the field, 2 appointment days. There's always exceptions to everything. Like today, I think I'm getting some policies to deliver that are not in the area I'm working tomorrow. So I've already set my appointments for tomorrow, so I know where I'm going to be. And so this afternoon, if the mail's wrong, then I won't be going there anyway. I'll go. But I'll also, in that area where I'm going, like tomorrow I'm going to a place that's about 50 miles southwest of me. Where this policy's at is like 40 miles north of me. But I will carry my lead folder for that area. Since I'm going to be there, I'll call some folks. Or if I have some that don't have numbers, I'll door knock those. But my normal week is to set my appointments, and I'll set 6 appointments. That's enough for me. These guys can run 8, 9, 10 appointments in a day.
So 6 appointments in a day is your goal.
6 in a day is plenty for me. And then, so I'll go 6. tomorrow. And then, you know, my plan is I'll set 6 appointments on Thursday, on Wednesday, on Wednesday. But that also depends on how tomorrow goes. I'm big on, and Travis, it took him years and years to get me to do this, but to stop. You know, if you're over, like, you know, if I go out tomorrow and write 4,000, I might not even make appointments Thursday.
You hit your goal.
You know, I might, you know, may not sit around the house either, you know, there are bills to be paid, but, you know, but I won't care if I make any. You know, I'll just, you know, I may make 2 or 3 for that day. You know, but that just depends on, now if I don't do anything, tomorrow, if I get shut out tomorrow, well, most certainly, you know, I'm going to make a full, you know, and, but that, you know, that's my normal schedule, you know, the schedule, you know, and I won't schedule more than 1 day out. You know, if I'm calling for tomorrow, I'm only setting appointments for tomorrow. And I learned that from a NAA guy, when I went to their national convention in Atlanta in January 2005. I was struggling setting appointments too, you know, and all, and you know, your natural tendency is to want to go see, you're calling people, you want to go see them. It's natural to go see them when they want to see you. So they would tell you if you're calling on Monday, now I can't see you tomorrow, but you know, I got an opening at 3 o'clock Friday afternoon. Okay, I'll see you Friday. And, you know, of course that doesn't work out. And,
right.
And the guy I met with, I had a few beers at the bar with the guy who was the #1 guy with NAA that year before. I think he did like 450,000. He told me, you know, we were talking about setting an appointment. He told me, you know, you can't do, you gotta go 1 day. You can't tell them. And he also did Monday for Tuesday and Wednesday for Thursday. He said, you know, you gotta tell people no. You have to learn to tell people no. You know, if they want to meet with you Thursday, no, I'm not going to be there Thursday. I'm going to be there tomorrow. You have to tell them no. They have to come to your schedule. And I wasn't sure about that, you know. And he said, look, you just have to do that. He said, and it doesn't matter. He said, well, what if they tell me that makes them mad? He said, well, who cares? He said, if they're not interested, he said, and mortgage protection is different now. And of course, one reason I was able to do that part-time until June of 2015, most of your appointments are in the evening. You're dealing with working people. And so he said, look, the people who are interested will make time to see you.
That's true.
He said, the people who are not interested, who cares if you don't get to meet with them? And that was a hard lesson for me to learn. That was very tough for me. You know, I came back from that meeting, and I did that. And I was amazed that it worked. I was amazed that the people, when you say no, well, wait a minute, let me see, I guess I could, you know. And then you learn, you develop your BS meter over time. And there are reasons that people can't meet with you the next day sometimes that are not excuses. And it just takes a long time. Frank Stastny called it giving good phone. It takes a long time for you to figure out which is which. And I can tell now, you know, if I'm talking to somebody about tomorrow and they tell me their excuse why they can't, and I talk to them a little bit more, and then you've got to know your geographic area too. One of the guys I talked to this morning, he's going to the doctor tomorrow. Well, you know how that is. Our folks, they set out a whole day for a doctor, you know.
Right.
Usually, what time's your appointment? 10 o'clock. Oh, okay. You know, you'll be back by 1 o'clock, right? Yeah, okay, I can see you then. And they're okay. I asked this guy, so what time's your appointment? He said, 11 o'clock. And I said, well, okay, then you'll be back. No, I'm going to Nashville. I'm going to Vanderbilt. Okay, you're going to be gone all day. So that's a guy I'll call back.
Right.
You know, I know. You know, he's going to be gone all day. He's going to Nashville. So, you know, if he was going to the doctor 5 miles down the road, I might not have bought that excuse. But, you know, so you learn over time, you know, which is on. You know, the worst day, we were just talking about that on one of our calls here recently. When I sat down to make appointments and I schedule my 6 appointments for tomorrow in 15 minutes, and everybody you say, okay, see, you know, that's one that makes me more nervous than anything. You know,
almost too easy. What's the catch? You know, that's
you're looking at a day of snow shows. You know, and
right.
you know, so you know, it's just, but that, you know, that's my normal schedule. That's how I like to work. You know, be in the field, you know, 2 days a week, and you know, doing the appointments, and then doing the service work on Monday afternoons and Wednesday afternoons that I can't get, you know, that I can't work in during my day of appointments. And so, and then scrub the apps, fax and everything in on Friday. We have our Friday call Friday. You know, I don't miss calls. You know, that's another thing. You know, be involved in the process. Equita had 2 calls a week during the week. They called them plug and learn, best on memory. Never missed one. Travis always had a call on Friday, even with them. Never missed a Friday call. Haven't missed a Friday call with FEX. They had a monthly agent call when we were with Equita. Never missed that. Even when I was in AA, they had a weekly call. I didn't miss it. You know, you got to be involved with the people that you're with, that's doing what you do, and constantly learning. You got to be learning constantly. You know, you're the worst at this. I'll steal a line from Scott Burke. You're the worst at this today you will ever be. You know, and you got to keep, you know, you got to keep growing, you know, with this, and that includes setting your appointments and stuff. I'm better setting appointments now than I used to be. You know, those leads I said earlier that were terrible with Lincoln Heritage, you might send me a stack of those today. I said, man, those are good leads. You know,
right? Experience will do that, you know.
And but you know, I have more leads. Like I said, I do get more leads. You know, people, I get challenged on that a lot about 10, 12 appointments in a week on 15 leads. You know, well, they're probably right. You know, if you don't have any leads and you get 15, or if you send me 15 leads right now in an area I've never worked before, probably not going to schedule 10, 12 appointments there next week. And but over time, if you get 15 a league, I never shut my leads off. You know, we went to a week in Jamaica with KSKJ in February. I got 15 leads that week. And the next week, you know, and you know, Christmas, I don't work anymore. I don't work the 2 weeks around Christmas anymore. I don't work the week around Thanksgiving anymore. But I get leads those weeks. You know, and over time they'll come up. You know, I'll just grab one out. This is not there. I'm working tomorrow either. There's just one. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Yeah, we got it. Is it?
How many leads are in this thing?
20 or 30 at least.
Yeah.
Good staff.
Oh, and
So, John, you've got those from years ago, right?
Oh, but they're probably not in. They're more than 2 years old.
Okay, right.
I will trash them after, you know, the RGI leads have the year on the top. Mm-hmm. If they got 2015 across the top, they're probably going in the trash.
I got you. Okay.
And now, if I didn't have any more leads, they wouldn't.
Right.
Well, you know, I would. I'd be calling every one of them. But over time, if you keep your leads coming in, you will end up just like that. You know?
Right.
And then,
Sure.
and then because I get so many referrals too that come in that, you know, I get a lot of referrals that basically supplements my leads. And you get more of those, you know, I didn't get a whole lot of referrals my first 2 years in the business. You know, I'm in my 15th year now. I get, like I just told you earlier, that guy, I had a scope appointment from 10 years ago in his file. You know, I got a referral last week that I went and wrote I wrote this couple 2011, so 7 years ago. And she referred her brother to me now, and it was odd. I was looking at the thing when they were this couple. And he passed, so it was just her now. But they had also referred me to her brother, another brother back then that I wrote, and 2 friends. So there was 5. I already have 5 rights in that house, and now I'm getting this one. It took 7 years to get the 6th one, and I wrote him. He called me Friday to tell me that his ex-wife and daughter are going to call me this week. They want insurance too. So if that comes to fruition, that's 8 rights in that house. But they were a referral. I had forgotten that when I was there last week, but she reminded me, well, you know, Judith, you know, that's who sent us to you. Did you know that she passed? And I said, yes, I did know that she passed. I had actually forgotten that she sent me. Now, she was a lead. She was an Equitable lead. And it was $15 a month.
Wow. Boy,
First, where that chain started was a $15 a month right. And none of them are big. The one I wrote last week was $35 a month. All the others were 25, 30. You know, none of them were big, but, you know, you're talking 6, 7 applications right now, and he's telling me 2 more. So who knows? But
right. So John, what do you do? What do you do when you get into a presentation? Are you the kind of agent that focuses on building rapport and then goes into like a cross-selling routine? There's kind of some tangential questions in here, but how do you start your presentation off and kind of walk us through from the start to the finish?
Okay. Well, I tell everybody, one reason I set my own appointments too is it's the first step in the sales process. That's how I treat it. So I've got a leg up when I go in because I've already spoken to these folks. But I don't do any qualifying on the phone and won't, even when they try to talk about it. And some people do. We'll discuss that tomorrow. But when I get there, you know, introduce myself, you know, go in, turn TV down, radio down, whatever's going. Get to the kitchen table if possible. Most times it's possible. But then I sit down and I go back over the lead card. You know, why, you know, just why I'm here. You know, just why I called you. This is, you know, and we go over the lead, you know, go over the card. And you know, we find there's 1 of 3 reasons people mail this card in. The number 1 reason is they don't have anything in place to take care of their final expense, burial, and they need something. The number 2 reason, they've got all that taken care of, or they've got something in place now, they don't think it's enough. But more and more people want to see if they're paying too much for what they have. And you're usually getting acknowledgments, yes or no. You know, this is a read and react business. And then you got and then the 3rd reason, if they haven't acknowledged the 3rd reason, people send this in, they've got all that taken care of. That's going to leave some money to their family, their church, leave a legacy of some sort. And, you know, which one of those is yours? That's not a good sign when you have to ask them which one of those is yours. Because you've usually gotten acknowledgement before you get there. Usually, if you have to ask which one of those three was yours, it's usually because they weren't listening to you the first time. And then you've got a problem there, because it'll happen a lot of times. I won't get any acknowledgement. I'm asking which one of those three was yours. I don't have anything right now. I already said that. You don't say that to them, but
right.
but obviously they just weren't listening to you. So then you've got to also recheck yourself. You got to tell yourself, okay, they weren't listening to me the first time. So now we got to start over. So let's get into it. And I find out why you sent the card in. I have to know why you mailed that card in. If I get to the end of that, no, it wasn't none of those. No, it wasn't none of that. Well, what was it? Well, Meals on Wheels, whatever crazy thing they come up with. Occasionally you will get somebody that, excuse me, I got this mortgage, I got a $80,000 mortgage here, that's what I was looking for. Okay. But since I do turn some, then I will pivot to that because that was their why. But if they can't give me a why at all, and I can't draw a why out, then I leave. I'm not in that house. I do not. If there's a secret to anything I do, and it's not really a secret because I've said this for years, I do not present to uninterested people. If you cannot give me a why, have a nice day. See you later.
That's so hard for agents to do, isn't it, John?
Well, I wouldn't tell a new agent to do that. Because a new agent is probably not going to, I know when they're not buying. I know when that no why is no why. Well, a new agent might miss that. So a new agent probably should go ahead and present. Because if anything, you need practice on your presentation. And then also you might find that you missed a why by going ahead and doing a presentation. And maybe I do sometimes too by leaving. But I'm okay with that. I don't talk people into buying anything. Not about that. I'm not good. One reason I have to do my presentation the way I do it, I'm not good at overcoming objections. I will take no very easily. I don't say, well, set an appointment. I don't talk people into an appointment. If you don't want to see me, I'm okay with that. I'd rather you tell me you don't want to see me than to set an appointment with me and no-show me. I want to go, so if you want to go, I'm not talking you into an appointment. I'm not begging to see you. I'm not going to beg you to buy, because then I'm going to have to beg you to keep it every month.
Bingo, yeah.
I want people to buy what they want. Everybody's needs analysis, that's a bunch of crap. People don't buy what they need. People buy what they want and what they can afford.
Right.
I might need a new car too, but I'm not going out and buying one if I don't have the money. But it's a read and react. That's the people that the final expense business. Final expense is not the product. That's where so many people get caught up on. Final expense is a marketing term for low face amount, simplified issue whole life. Final expense is the market. It's the 1%ers that they don't that mail in the cards. You and I, David, will never mail in one of these cards.
Right.
And you're bad about everyone is bad about putting their own values on things, and you have to fight that. I fight that with door knocking. And that's something Travis teaches all the time, and you got to do, but he didn't work his magic on me on that. I don't like door knocking because I don't want to be door knocked. I don't want someone showing up at my house unsolicited trying to sell me something. It irritates me for someone to do that. So I pass that on. I don't want to do to people what I want done to me. Although that is passing your judgment on, most of our folks probably don't mind you door knocking.
No.
But it doesn't matter. My mindset matters to me more than their mindset matters to me. And so that's just, Travis works on me about that, but he hasn't been able to get me around to that way. But I understand what he's saying. I know exactly what he's saying. Same way that they use, they teach you to call people by their first name. I call them Mr. and Mrs. I understand why they do theirs, but it doesn't work for me. So I call people Mr. and Mrs. until you tell me different. And people will say that, Mr. Jones is my dad's name. I'm Jim. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
But if they don't say that, they're Mr. Jones as long as I will ever know them. And unless they tell me different. But that's just, you're getting into personal preferences, quirks, things like that on that. But, the presentation really doesn't matter if you find people's why. I'm not comfortable with the money purchase thing, so I don't do that.
Like selling the premium, you mean, like what Tim does?
Yeah, I don't like that. And that's another thing. I don't like it. When you go buy a car today, when I go buy a car, I'm going to buy on purchase price. Right. Every car salesman is trying to sell you on monthly payments. I'll get you into this for $350 a month. Might be 12 years, And,
that's how you get screwed, yeah.
I wish I could do it. Man, that'd be so, once you get that money commitment, man, they're sold. But really, it's not about the presentation as it is finding their why. Or Joe Chaccio said this years ago, and I've repeated it several times. So I stole this from you, Joe, if you're watching. No why, no buy.
That's right.
And that's true. And you get these slick salesmen, man, they come, I sell them at Equity, I see them at FEX. Man, these dudes that can sell, top a dog all a meat wagon, man, but their persistency is awful. That stuff works. One of the NAA things was, ask them how many times they went out to eat in a month. And how much did you spend? Well, $80. We go once a week, $80. Well, you can just one time a month not go out to eat and pay for this premium. And that's true. And it works. You know what happens next month? Or the month after? They go out and eat.
Cancel that.
And so I just don't like stuff like that. I don't want stuff like that used on me, so I don't use stuff like that. And I probably lose sales because of that sometimes that somebody else would make. But again, I'm okay with that. My persistency with my number one companies is not always so good with my secondary companies because there's a reason they're with those companies. My placement, the last time KSKJ told me, my placement with them was 97%, and my persistency is over 90%.
Those are great numbers for final expense, by the way, guys.
It was that way when Rural Neighbors was my go-to. Like I said, your other companies, it's not so good because they're with the other companies for a reason.
Sure. Yeah.
Just to be honest. And but you got a lot of people out there saying Tim Winder's lines. And Tim Winder's a great agent. Tim Winder does a great presentation. Tim Winder's, the thing that I talk about, like with people, if I wasn't in this business, I'd probably want Tim to be my agent. He kind of inspires that when you talk to people. When you talk to him, and he does that with people in there. And that's kind of the way I always look at stuff. If I wasn't in this business, would I want me to be my agent? And as long as I answer yes to that, then I think I'm doing okay. But people are saying Travis Tubbs lines, but they're not writing the business Travis Tubbs writes. People are saying Matt Mungia's lines. They're not doing his production. I tell you, Jose Arteaga, I think you're going to do an interview with him.
Still trying. You got to yell at him here. I'm trying to get him on the line here.
He's doing pretty much Travis's presentation and doing great at it, you know. But why is he doing that when others doing exactly following the same path Jose is doing? You know, Jose did $330,000 last year on 20 leads a week, saving his own appointments.
Wow.
He didn't get any training any different than so many others did. Nick Frumpkin, you did an interview with Nick. You know, some people just have a genius for this. You know, and you've got, you know, and guys like Travis Tubbs and Tim Winder, Matt Mungia, Jose Arteaga, Nick Frumpkin. I know I got to quit naming names. I'm going to leave somebody out.
Chris Grove, don't forget him.
Who?
Don't forget Chris.
Chris Grove?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, yeah. There's another one, though. I mean, if that wasn't what you're talking about, but just killing it. You know, and you know the companies don't matter either. Yeah, one thing I'll say about FBX is the first IMO I've ever been involved with that does not care what company you write. They don't have a company they steer you to. They don't care. Scott and Travis don't care if you wrote every bit of your business with United Home Life. Yeah, it's we had one guy that wrote 100,000 with Transamerica last year. And how did that happen? You know, but Southern California, he's in Southern California, where it's really hard to sell. Same guy also made the Security National Life trip and the KSKJ trip, in addition to 100,000 with Transamerica.
That's great.
He's one of the few agents with FBX that recruits. He's Jose's upline. He doesn't have a lot of agents, but when he knows how to pick them. He got Jose, and he's got another guy.
Wow.
That did about 170,000 last year. So he don't have a big agency, but for some reason he knows how to get the good ones. But you know, some people just have a genius for this, and then the rest are like me. They really have to work at it and spend time at it and learn this stuff. But if they will, it's so rewarding, you know, to set your own schedule. I was terribly happy. If they hadn't ended our contract, I'm sure I'd still be with the AFL-CIO. I never knew you could make this kind of money. I certainly didn't there. You know, if you will apply what the teaching is, and I go back to, if agents will just do what I did when I got with NAA, and I just learned that system, the Hudgens system, and applied it word for word. I didn't like it. There's some things in that system I don't like. The I love you, the think about it, the different things, of different parts of that. I hated saying those lines. I hated saying it. But I did them anyway because I didn't know how to sell insurance, and they did. And
that's so true, John. I have to interrupt. I mean, it's just I tell agents, just you got to be a good soldier. You just got to follow orders, and you got to earn the right to question it if you ever get to that point, but only through trial and tribulation. You know, there's a reason why you're told what to say. You're told because it works, and it's probably worked for a lot of other people. You know,
right.
Simplify your life and just do what you're told. You'll get success. You know, if you just do what you're told.
Doing that, was just, once I kind of developed my own way, I dropped that stuff I didn't want to say. Once I had my own way that it worked, Jose's that way. He and I have talked quite a bit about it. He's not doing the Travis Tubbs presentation word for word now. He's doing it mostly, but he's Jose'd it up. he's made it fit him. And he's a worker. I'll say it. Good dude, good. I mean, just good people. And you'll like if you get to interview with, you'll like Jose. He's just good down to earth, right guy, but he's coachable. He's and that's what you see of the people who make it. Everybody wants to reinvent the wheel. It's got bit. I remember how long are you now, Dave? 7, 8 years. You did too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You wanted to redesign those leads, and
you remember those days? Yeah. No, I've come clean on that. So, but that's like you say, John. Some lessons you can't learn. You've got to, or some lessons can't be taught. You got to do the stupid.
Right.
I remember when you said that years ago, and that's certainly
the best lessons have to be learned. They can't be taught. And that's like one-leggers. I was told not to do one-leggers, just like we're told everybody's told. I thought mine were different. I can do one-leggers. I don't care what them people said. Today, I would tell you don't do one-legger. And it's just come in. But if we were talking about the market, it's about the people. This is a read and react. This is not about the product. Everybody wants to, that. Of course, you get a lot of advice in this business from people who don't sell final expense. Don't deal with that. They might sell final expense policies. Right. But they're not final expense agents. They're not going and they're not dealing with what we're dealing with. They're not understanding the market of the people, and it's about the market. You don't have to be an insurance expert on that. Some of the best agents I know out there don't know the first thing about what a UL is, what the difference between a UL and a GUL. They don't know the difference. When we say a UL is imploding, they don't know what the world we're talking about. But these dudes are writing tons of business. Dudes and girls, Sharon Smith out in Arizona, she's just killing it. She was the #1 agent with KSKJ, or I think Jose's pastor again. Going at just doing what she's taught. They say women don't make it in this, but they do. If they actually, from what I've seen, the women who are willing to do this and put in time are better at it than the men. Lovely Johnson in Chicago, how many men go outright her? Lisa Ducey in Indiana, you get, try to follow them.
Right.
So it's about, learning but understanding the people, read and react. Nick Frunk and I have had that conversation many times. It's about what turns the crank of our people. What is their interest? What is their why? What's important to them? And what's important to people who are world-class procrastinators is different than what's important to the average person. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong. It's different. And you have to understand, if you think it's wrong, that will come across when you're in people's homes and you're not going to make it in this business either. And a lot of people do. And a lot of people can't stand to work with folks that we do. And that's fine. I understand that. Don't do this. But to really understand what's going on in the home that you're in, and what they say, why do you have me here? Why did you send this card in? Why did you have me in your house? And they all got a why. Now, they might forget it between the time that they sent it and they may not ever meet with you. But they had one when they mailed that card in. And they know it's about insurance. I don't use a card that says insurance, but they don't need to. They all know it's what it's for.
They really do, man. It took me forever to realize that. They all know. They've been getting these cards for years. They sent other cards in over the past 6 to 12 months. They've had other agents. It's true.
They've met with the other. Now, you might find 1 in 1,000 that it's the first card they ever mailed in, and you're the first guy to ever talk to them. And they didn't understand what it was. So yeah, that could happen, but that's, you can't build your business on the exceptions either.
Right.
It's they know, but it doesn't, like I said, so it's reading. Once you have a why and you have a myriad of companies to write, you are going to leave that house with an application, with the only exception being they don't have any money. If you've done it, or if you missed some signs, or if they don't trust you after you've gone through there, and that's another reason I don't proceed. Gary Key, you know who Gary is, great agent. He calls it getting their walls down. And when their walls come down, when you're sitting there talking to them. And if you proceed with walls up, you're not going to sell that person, even if you've got what they want. So you have to be a student of this business and to be able to understand, not this business of that group, to understand what they're looking for and that they're listening to you. Oh, I've walked out of homes that I started a presentation on, and you can just tell you're not going to sell that person. They're not listening to you. They don't like you. We all want to think every home we go into, they like you. Well, sometimes they don't. And you got to understand that, and that and cut your time in there short. You can't spend time with that person that's agent killers, or the people that no-show you. You just can't get upset about no-shows. Travis calls them agent killers, and thank God for them. They thin the herd for the rest of us.
That's true. You should be thankful.
Person that's not as tough as you got out of this business because of that. So where are we at, Dave, on your questions? I got your list here, but
yeah, I'm gonna ask you one of these questions near the end, kind of to wrap things up here. You mentioned this market. I think this is probably the biggest takeaway of this conversation with you, John. It's hard to explain, especially from someone looking outside in, but the final expense market is completely unique. It's unlike a mortgage protection market, or it's unlike another market that is maybe, a middle market type of thing. You've really got to learn these people. That's the common thread all successful final expense agents understand, is they got to understand how these people think. So kind of related to that, John, what I'm curious to hear is, we're at the age now where we're working Facebook leads, right? There's a lot more people selling over the phone now than maybe there have been over the past 10 years. And I'm just curious, with your experience and your know-how in this business, where do you think final expense is going to be in 10, 20 years? Do you think we're going to be doing the exact same thing we're doing right now? Do you see the lead generation process changing, or face-to-face falling out of favor? What's kind of your overall opinion on that?
It's going to change. Change is inevitable. But they will be the last market to change. And they will never change completely over, into what, and, there's going to be more, companies are certainly hoping that somebody will perfect selling direct, to the final expense. That's why they're willing to put money into it and all. And I used to say that the next client I have that has email or sends a text or has a smartphone will be my first. Well, now I'll say the next one I have might be my fifth or sixth. I've had a few. Got a text from one Saturday, so it's. But the fundamentals will not change, and that's what people outside looking in will never get. The folks in the final expense that make up, they're world-class procrastinators, and they haven't been good with their money. They didn't get to be 65 or 75 years old, 65 to 70 years old, and not have their final expenses taken care of, because they've been proactive and good with their money. And most of them have a thing about the man. You know, they feel disenfranchised and about it. And you're somebody that goes in and meets with people, so you know exactly what I'm saying. I don't think someone who doesn't do this will ever understand what I'm saying if I talk to them all day about it. So I don't try to. It's you know, people that can do this job, and you know, you're someone that recruits and trains. And I would bet, I've never discussed this with you. I say the people who can do this can do this. They pretty much hit the ground running because they just get it. Now they get better as time goes along, but they can either do this or they can't. This is my theory, and you can tell me if I'm wrong on that. That's what I've seen over the years, because I have never seen a person in 15 insurance, say 10 years final expense. I have never yet seen an agent that struggled and struggled for months in final expense, and then the light came on and they came good at this. I just never seen.
Yeah, I think it's a good point, John. You know, I think I always tell agents that there's 3 categories that they could fit in. I call it the 60-30-10 rule. So there's 10% that are they're just studs, right? You know, they get out there, they're exactly like you described. I mean, they're like maybe a Jose.
I call it having a genius for this.
Yeah, exactly. And they're savants, like you said, you know. And then there's 60% of them that don't, and they're endless excuses, fill in the blanks. It could be, you know, the leads suck, they suck, I suck, or some combination, whatever, right? They're just not going to be successful. And then I think there's a middle 30% ground. Uh-oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you might have to switch phones.
Yeah. So I think there's a middle 30% ground where I see agents that have the capability to be at the top. They could be in the 10%, but there's something, and it's usually a personal problem. It's usually a personal issue. It's not a leads issue. Sometimes it is. But very rarely. I'd say 80% of the time, it's a work ethic problem. It is a avoidance behavior problem with selling. I mean, I can think of several agents right off the top of my head that could have the stuff. And the question becomes, will they ever have the stuff? I don't think it's something I could even solve. You know, I can just show them the way, and then if they decide to take that path. So, you know, but yeah, I think you're either going to instinctually understand this market or not. I tell agents now that, you know, the biggest objection is, well, I got to put all this money into this business. What if it doesn't work? I'll tell them, look, if you give this a solid month, you go out here and you see these people, I'm not going to say you're going to make a huge amount of money, but you should break even at least, if not do better than that. You'll know if you do this solidly for a month that it's for you.
You will know. Yeah. You know, and the thing is getting with somebody that will train you that knows this business. I am 100% convinced that you cannot learn this business from someone who does not know how to do this business. I am 100% convinced of it at that. Of course, I catch flack about all the time. From marketers, of course, desk jockeys who've never done this. Of course, I get accused of recruiting, although you can't find anybody I've ever recruited. I didn't know I recruited you until today. But just get with somebody, and of course I'm partial to FEX, but it doesn't have to be FEX. You know, there are people who have done this business at every IMO I know of. Just take Equita, for example. You've got Andrew Fight, which you know. You've got Joe Chacho. You've got people that that have done this can teach you how to do this business. I don't know Brandon Smotherman, I think is his name, but I know of him. I know he's a real deal. I know he writes business. I know he qualified for company trips on his own pen, which is a telling point for any agent. I'm not saying people who have never qualified for trips are not, but I can tell you any agent that's qualified for these company trips on their own pen is the real deal. They don't pass those trips out. They do pass them out to marketers. They do not pass them out to the producers. If they have done that, and you get, and somebody's teaching you, like I said earlier, the question, they just don't know the right questions to ask of the person that's training them, and I didn't either. When that person's teaching you, you'll hear them talk about referrals. Teaching you a system. I got a system. I got a system on getting referrals. Yeah? How'd that work out for you when you were doing it? They just don't ask that. How's it working out for you if you're getting all these referrals? You'll find the person telling you all that crap never got referrals. Or how come you didn't produce? How come you didn't produce when you were in the field? How come you didn't produce if you were so good at this? You just you can't let that person who can't do this train you. Now, if you want to be in their position, if you want to be recruiting agents and be a marketer, well, yeah, let that person train you to do what they're doing. But if your goal is to learn to get out and sell right final expense on your own pen, learn from that person who has been where you want. The guys I mentioned earlier that I got with, Dan Runge, Tim Winders, Travis Tubbs, Kevin Bartlett, and associate now with Joe Bash and Jose Arteaga and Jeff Hall and the people who actually do this, that I want to refine my skill by being around them. I don't know enough about YIG's model, about recruiting to be with them, but if you could be with Tim Winders and let him train you, well, you can't go wrong there. Jimmy, no, I don't know if you know Jimmy Hobson or not, but, Jimmy's another guy I know real well, was killing it in final expense. He's decided to be in Medicare now. I sent Jimmy a referral last year, Medicare supplement out in Wyoming. And, it's another thing. You get referrals from all those people, too, just the forum. I got referrals from Matt Mungia, Ben Bowman, you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
I just sent Matt Smith. I just referred somebody to him. Matt helped me get a guy covered, one of my long-term clients, on a big term case that I just couldn't get him covered. Matt got him covered. There are some networking in this business. Brad Aiden has sent me referrals. You get, there's a networking goes on among this, but if you know the people who are real deals, and if you want to get into this business, learn from somebody who is where you want to be. It doesn't, you don't have to go with somebody that just talks it. At any IMO out there, like I said, we've mentioned most of them here, the final expense IMO. I know JLS Marketing. Tony Bowen out there killing it. I don't know if he recruits or not, but there's people everywhere who actually do this business, who will actually train agents. Don't learn from a guy riding the bench when you can learn from a starter. So that would be my advice to any new agent.
Well, John, I want to thank you so much for spending the time to go over your experience in the business and kind of give us a roundup of how you do things. I think this is some pretty great training. I mean, especially how we've categorized that this is a market that you got to really understand and the process in which to do it and what matters. If if somebody wants to reach out to you, how can they do that? I mean, if they have any questions, you're pretty good at fielding questions.
Yeah, people, I get calls all the time. I'm willing to talk to people. You know, one of the things too is, you know, you get a lot of flack in different places and stuff, but you also get, I've gotten gift cards from Chris Westfall.
Oh yeah.
I knew Chris back years ago when he was trying to do final expense, and then when he tried to do it by phone, before he became the MedSup king. But he'll send me gift cards sometimes for my post on the forum. I had a guy in Florida that sent me 2 really nice restaurant gift cards. And I didn't know this guy. He'd read some of my stuff somewhere and stuff, said I helped him. A couple of years ago, I got a real nice letter from a guy in North Carolina. Said he listened to my interview with Scott many times. That's been almost 6 years ago now that did that first interview. And he said the forum and different things. And he just sent me a real nice letter. I don't even know who his IMO is.
Yeah, right.
And that you know, that I'd helped his business and stuff. So, you know, that stuff is nice. So yeah, I've always been willing to talk to people that, regardless of IMO or where they're with. I got all these friends. I mean, you know, I refer people to Matt Mungia. You know, I start to say often, but not often, but regularly. Mm-hmm. You know, Matt would tell you that, and to Brad Hayden. You know, yeah, most people might be surprised that Brad and I get along. And you know, like I said, the people at Equita. You know, so I said Brian and I are big friends. I did send Ryan a text right after Arizona got beat in the tournament. He never responded to me, so he might not be on my good friend side right now. Since he didn't
You're
respond.
on the shit list right now, John.
And you know, that's Joe Chaccio. I talked to Joe. I think probably it's been close to a year now. We spoke on the phone. You know, everybody out there is not enemies. And, you know, so I do talk to people, and if they want to, I had Equita called me a few years ago about a guy, and I think it was in Oklahoma, but he was under another one of their, and wanted to know if he wanted to talk to me, wanted to know if I would take his calls, and I did. We had several conversations. Hadn't heard from him in a while. Maybe he's not in the business anymore. Maybe he doesn't need help now. Maybe he's just killing it and doesn't need help anymore. But yeah, if somebody wants to contact me, you know.
I'll tell you what, I'll just have them contact me.
Contact you, and then you can give them my phone number.
Right.
You know. I want to talk to all your agents now, Dave.
Yeah, I know. I'm asking for trouble here, I think. So.
But, you know, we do you know, we've done, you know, done some splits with one of your agents. You know, the splits are different too on what you do on those referrals.
Right.
Now, one of your guys, we did a 50-50 split because it was just such a easy deal. And,
right.
Yeah. So, you know, whatever, you know, I've never been opposed to helping out agents or sending them, you know, my private messages at the forum are way different than what's on the actual forum.
Right.
Hearing from people. And even had a real nice conversation in a private message with PD, Julie, whatever different names, Joey.
Oh, yeah.
Far different than what's on the forum. But,
oh, yeah, right. It's kind of fun to mess around, so. All right, John. Well, I'm going to hang this thing up. Thank you so much for your time. And again, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this. And thanks again, John, for all you've done for me. I appreciate it.
No problem. Take care.
All right, man. Have a good one. See ya.